The president said Poland will provide basing and infrastructure to support the military presence of about 1,000 American troops in the country. The Polish government will build these projects at no cost to the United States, Trump said in the Rose Garden of the White House. The Polish government will pay for this. Earlier in the day, the president said the United States has based tens of thousands of troops in Germany for a long time, and that he probably would move a certain number of those personnel to Poland if we agree to do it. Polish leaders have lobbied for additional forces for months and had hoped for a permanent U.S. base they said could be called Fort Trump. Eastern European nations have reached out to the U.S. and NATO for greater protection, worrying that they might be the next target of Russia's military advance. Related slideshow: Donald Trump's most outrageous quotes provided by photo services. In the East, it could be the coldest New Year's Eve on record. Perhaps we could use a little bit of that good old global warming that our country, but not other countries, was going to pay trillions of dollars to protect against. Bundle up. Trump tweeted on December 28, 2017, after the U.S. East Coast was hit with a cold wave. Crooked Hillary Clinton is the worst and biggest loser of all time. She just can't stop, which is so good for the Republican Party. Hillary, get on with your life and give it another try. In 3 years. On November 18, 2017, he took to Twitter to hit out at Hillary Clinton. Why would Kim Jong-un insult me by calling me old, when I would never call him short and fat? Oh well, I try so hard to be his friend, and maybe someday that will happen. On November 11, 2017, Trump tweeted a reply to North Korea's insults that described him as a destroyer. What a crowd, what a turnout. While addressing the victims and survivors of Hurricane Harvey during his trip to Texas to survey the damage of hurricane on August 29, 2017. After consultation with my generals and military experts, please be advised that the United States government will not accept or allow transgender individuals to serve in any capacity in the U.S. military. Our military must be focused on decisive and overwhelming victory and cannot be burdened with the tremendous medical costs and disruption that transgender and the military would entail. Thank you. On July 26, 2017, Trump posted a series of tweets on the transgender military ban. Despite so many false statements and lies, total and complete vindication. And wow, Comey is a leaker. I believe the James Comey leaks will be far more prevalent than anyone ever thought possible. Totally illegal, very cowardly. First on June 9 and then on June 11, 2017, Trump took aim at the former FBI director after his Senate testimony on June 8. Comey revealed that he believed he was fired because of the FBI's Russia investigation. He also said he took extensive memos during his meetings with Trump because he was afraid Trump would lie about the meetings. Comey had then asked a friend to give these memos to the press. Do you notice we are not having a gun debate right now? That's because they used knives in a truck. After the attacks, pictured, where suspects mowed people with a van and then stabbed others, Trump tweeted on June 4, 2017, about why the administration was not discussing gun control. Look at the way I have been treated lately, especially by the media. No politician in history, and I say this with great surety, has been treated worse or more unfairly. During a commencement speech at the Coast Guard Academy on May 17, 2017, people were quick to point towards American presidents like Abraham Lincoln and John F. Kennedy who were assassinated in office, or the dissenters in dictatorial regimes who were imprisoned or sent to labor camps. I loved my previous life. I had so many things going. This is more work than in my previous life. I thought it would be easier. During an interview with Reuters on April 27, 2017, about his first 100 days in office. But I inherited a mess. I inherited a mess in so many ways. I inherited a mess in the Middle East, and a mess with North Korea. I inherited a mess with jobs. Despite the statistics, you No, my statistics are even better, but they are not the real statistics because you have millions of people that can't get a job, okay? And I inherited a mess on trade. I mean, we have many, you can go up and down the ladder. But that's the story. Hey look, in the meantime, I guess I can't be doing so badly because I'm president and you're not. You know, say hello to everybody, okay? During an interview with Time Washington bureau chief Michael Shearer on March 22, 2017 for the magazine's cover story about how Trump has dealt with truth and falsehoods in his career. I never said I was going to repeal and replace in the first 64 days. During a call with the Washington Post's Robert Costa on March 24, he said he would never repeal and replace the Affordable Care Act immediately. On February 10, 2017, he had tweeted, "We will immediately repeal and replace Obamacare, and nobody can do that like me. We will save dollars and have much better health care." Terrible. Just found out that Obama had my wires tapped in Trump Tower just before the victory. Nothing found. This is McCarthyism. Is it legal for a sitting president to be wiretapping a race for president prior to an election? Turned down by court earlier. A new low. I'd bet a good lawyer could make a great case out of the fact that President Obama was tapping my phones in October, just prior to election. How low has President Obama gone to tap my phones during the very sacred election process? This is Nixon, Watergate. Bad or sick guy? In a series of 4 tweets sent on the early morning of March 4, 2017, Trump accused Barack Obama of wiretapping him in the run-up to the presidential election. You look at what's happening last night in Sweden. Sweden, who would believe this? Trump's remark at a Florida rally on February 18, 2017, raised many questions since there were no terrorist attacks in the country, unlike in Germany and France, the 2 countries he followed up. After Sweden, he took to Twitter and clarified, "My statement as to what's happening at Sweden was in reference to a story that was broadcast on at Fox News concerning immigrants and AMP. Sweden. Any negative polls are fake news, just like the CNN, ABC, NBC polls in the election. Sorry, people want border security and extreme vetting." Trump tweeted on February 6, 2017, after polls showed a lack of support for his anti-immigration moves. "Iran is playing with fire. They don't appreciate how kind President Obama was to them. Not me." As part of a diplomatic standoff regarding Iran's ballistic missile test, Trump tweeted this on February 3, 2017. Iran's Foreign Minister Mohammad Javad Zarif tweeted back, "Iran unmoved by threats as we derive security from our people. We'll never initiate war, but that we can only rely on our own means of defense. Watched protests yesterday but was under the impression that we just had an election. Why didn't these people vote? Celebs hurt caused badly." The 45th President of the U.S. tweeted on January 22, 2017, following the massive turnout at the Women's March on Washington that was held a day after his inauguration. "As you know, I have a running war with the media. They are among the most dishonest human beings on earth. They sort of made it sound like I had a feud with the intelligence community. Nonsense, it is exactly the opposite, and they understand that too." While addressing the press personnel at the CIA headquarters in McLean, Virginia, U.S., on January 21, 2017. "I'm not going to give you a question. I'm not going to give you a question. You are fake news." In a January 11, 2017, press conference, the then-president-elect refused to take questions from CNN's Jim Acosta, pictured labeling his channel fake news. "There will be plenty of movie and entertainment stars. All the dress shops are sold out in Washington. It's hard to find a great dress for this inauguration." Trump told the New York Times on January 9 about the excitement that his approaching inauguration was generating among the American people. Meryl Streep, pictured, one of the most overrated actresses in Hollywood, doesn't know me but attacked last night at the Golden Globes. She is a Hillary flunky who lost big. For the 100th time. I never mocked a disabled reporter, would never do that, but simply showed him groveling when he totally changed a 16-year-old story that he had written in order to make me look bad. Just more very dishonest media. Trump tweeted on January 9 in response to Streep's speech at the 2017 Golden Globe Awards. At the awards, the actress had spoken against the 2015 mocking of a disabled reporter without naming anyone. Happy New Year to all, including to my many enemies and those who have fought me and lost so badly they just don't know what to do. Love. The then President-elect's 2016 New Year's Eve tweet. If I win, I am going to instruct my Attorney General to get a special prosecutor to look into your situation. Because there has never been so many lies. During the second presidential debate on October 9, 2016, referring to Clinton's email scandal. When Clinton responded that it's good that he wasn't in charge of the law, he retorted, because you'd be in jail. Such a nasty woman. In the last presidential debate on October 19, 2016, Trump interrupted Clinton with this comment when she was speaking about her tax plans and his avoiding tax payments. This was locker room banter, a private conversation that took place many years ago. Bill Clinton has said far worse to me on the golf course, not even close. I apologize if anyone was offended. Trump released a statement on October 7, 2016, in response to a 2005 video released by The Washington Post in which he made objectionable comments about women during a conversation with talk show host Billy Bush. Pictured in this 2005 video capture, Trump prepares for an appearance on the TV show Days of Our Lives with actress Ariane Zucker and Access Hollywood host Billy Bush. The election is absolutely being rigged by the dishonest and distorted media pushing crooked Hillary, but also at many polling places. Sad. His tweet on October 16, 2016. Of course there is large-scale voter fraud happening on and before Election Day. Why do Republican leaders deny what is going on? So naive. Another tweet on October 17, accusing the Republicans of ignoring the fraud. 40 Wall Street actually was the second tallest building in downtown Manhattan, and it was actually, before the World Trade Center, was the tallest, and then, when they built the World Trade Center, it became known as the second tallest. And now it's the tallest. In a radio interview with WWOR on the afternoon of the attacks in 2001, Trump responded when asked if he was worried about any potential damage to 40 Wall Street, his 71-story building, a few blocks away from the towers. I didn't even apologize to my wife who is sitting right here because I didn't do anything. I didn't know any of these women. I didn't see these women. It was all lies and it was fiction. His response at the October 19, 2016, debate where he said the sexual assault allegation against him, brought on by 9 women, had been started by the Clinton campaign and were false. He called the women fame seekers. However, in a Fox News interview, Melania Trump revealed that her husband was indeed sorry and they had agreed to move on. See, you're telling the enemy everything you want to do. No wonder you've been fighting. No wonder you've been fighting ISIS your entire adult life. Trump commented that Clinton told ISIS about her plans to fight them by mentioning it on her campaign website during the first presidential debate on September 26, 2016. I don't think anybody knows it was Russia that broke into the DNC. She's Clinton saying Russia, 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 but I don't. Maybe it could be Russia, but it could also be China. It also could be somebody sitting on their bed that weighs 400 pounds, okay? The U.S. government and other Democrats had been accusing Russia of stealing more than 19,000 emails from the Democratic Party's computers. Trump responded to a question about the hack-in cybersecurity at the September 26, 2016, debate. If he says great things about me, I'm gonna say great things about him. I've already said he is really very much of a leader. I mean, the man has very strong control over a country. And that's a very different system and I don't happen to like the system. But certainly in that system he's been a leader, far more than our president has been a leader. In the campaign season's first showdown in NBC's Commander-in-Chief Forum, on September 7, 2016, Trump was asked how he felt on being complimented by Russian President and former KGB officer Vladimir Putin. Pictured, "I could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody and I wouldn't lose any voters." Commenting on his enthusiastic supporters, Trump said the above in Sioux Center, Iowa, U.S., on January 24, 2016. Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States until our country's representatives can figure out what is going on. The above statement was released on his campaign site on December 7, 2015. It was later removed. "Glad to see that it Ronda Rousey lost her championship fight last night. Was soundly beaten, not a nice person." Taking on MMA fighter Ronda Rousey, pictured after her historic defeat to Holly Holm, Trump tweeted the above on November 15, 2015. This might have been something to do with Rousey's suggestion that she'd vote for Democrat hopeful Bernie Sanders. "Well, I would hate to do it, but it's something you're going to have to strongly consider. Some of the absolute hatred is coming from these areas. The hatred is incredible. It's embedded. The hatred is beyond belief. The hatred is greater than anybody understands." Reacting to the terrorist attacks in Paris by the Islamic State on November 13, 2015, Trump suggested during an interview that he would consider shutting down mosques in the U.S. "You don't have to put on makeup. Look at how beautiful everyone looks. Wouldn't it be easier?" He waved his hand over his face as though it were a burqa and stated, "I'm ready, darling. Let's go." This was Trump trying to defend a burqa during a campaign event in Atkinson, New Hampshire, on October 28, 2015. "They could be ISIS. They are all men and they are all strong. If I win, they're going back." On September 30, 2015, during his speech at a campaign rally in Keene, New Hampshire, he said that he would send home all Syrian refugees seeking asylum in the U.S. Look at that face. Would anyone vote for that? Can you imagine that? The face of our next president? I mean, she's a woman, and I'm not supposed to say bad things, but really, folks, come on. Are we serious? Trump said to a reporter of the Rolling Stone magazine in September 2015 as fellow Republican presidential candidate Carly Fiorina, pictured, appeared on TV during an interview. "He's not a war hero. He's a war hero because he was captured. I like people that weren't captured, okay? I hate to tell you." Trump commented this on U.S. Senator John McCain, pictured, on July 18, 2015, at the Family Leadership Summit in Iowa. "I will build a great wall, and nobody builds walls better than me, believe me, and I'll build them very inexpensively. I will build a great wall on our southern border, and I will make Mexico pay for that wall. Mark my words." In his presidential campaign announcement speech on June 16, 2016, Trump proposed to build a wall between the U.S. and Mexico. "Our country is in serious trouble. We don't have victories anymore. We used to have victories, but we don't have them. When was the last time anybody saw us beating, let's say China in a trade deal? I beat China all the time. All the time." He made the emphatic statement during his June 16 speech. "I told you Time magazine would never pick me as Person of the Year despite being the big favorite. They picked person who is ruining Germany." Trump tweeted the above in reaction to German Chancellor Angela Merkel, pictured, being named as Time magazine's Person of the Year 2015. Trump finished third on the list. "Stop the Ebola patients from entering the U.S. Treat them, at the highest level, over there. The United States has enough problems." In August 2014, a pair of U.S. health workers, physician Kent Brantley and nurse Nancy Wright-Ball, got infected by the Ebola virus while helping at the affected areas in West Africa. They were brought back to U.S. for the treatment when Trump reached out to Twitter against it with the above post. Healthy young child goes to doctor, gets pumped with massive shot of many vaccines, doesn't feel good and changes. Autism. Many such cases. He tweeted the above on March 28, 2014. On September 3, he tweeted on the issue again, saying, "I am being proven right about massive vaccinations. The doctors lied. Save our children and amp their future. No more massive injections. Tiny children are not horses, one vaccine at a time, over time. Sorry losers and haters, but my IQ is one of the highest, and you all know it. Please don't feel so stupid or insecure. It's not your fault." On May 8, 2013, Trump tweeted this to his followers. The concept of global warming was created by and for the Chinese in order to make U.S. manufacturing non-competitive. This was his take on global warming, as he tweeted on November 7, 2012. He continued in another tweet, "It's freezing and snowing in New York. We need global warming. Why is Obama playing basketball today? That is why our country is in trouble." On the day of the 2012 U.S. presidential elections, Trump flooded Twitter with a trail of posts, including the above. Robert Pattinson should not take back Kristen Stewart. She cheated on him like a dog, and amp will do it again, just watch. He can do much better. When Twilight stars Robert Pattinson and Kristen Stewart separated, Trump flooded Twitter with 7 back-to-back tweets on October 18, 2017. One of his tweets read the above. "An extremely credible source has called my office and told me that Barack Obama's birth certificate is a fraud." In August 2012, he published a tweet questioning the then-President Barack Obama's birth certificate. For a very long time he was one of the leading proponents of the birther movement that promoted the false notion that Obama was born outside of the U.S. He may have one, but there's something on that. Maybe religion. Maybe it says he is a Muslim. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't want that. Or he may not have one. I will tell you this, if he wasn't born in this country, it's one of the great scams of all time. Continuing with his stance on the birther issue, he said the above during an interview on March 30, 2011. "Part of the beauty of me is that I am very rich." During an interview with ABC's Good Morning America on March 17, 2011, Trump said he may run as an independent in the general election if he fails to win the nomination, and that he was prepared to toss in $1 million of his own cash to fund a campaign. "All the women on The Apprentice flirted with me, consciously or unconsciously. That's to be expected. A sexual dynamic is always present between people, unless you are asexual." He wrote the above in his 2004 book, Trump, How to Get Rich. Trump said Wednesday he's very pleased that Poland has announced its intent to purchase 32 American-made F-35 fighter aircraft. In honor of that possible purchase, a single F-35 flew over the White House on a sunny afternoon. "Moments ago we witnessed that impressive flyover of this cutting-edge F-35 as it flew over the White House," the president said. The president made the comments during a joint Rose Garden press conference with Andrzej Duda, the president of Poland. While the press conference focused on areas of agreement, Trump said he differed with Poland's efforts to force the country's Supreme Court justices to retire early. Also Wednesday, Trump dismissed the suggestion that his administration's deal with Mexico not to impose tariffs in return for more border protection efforts had been negotiated months ago. "We would have never had a deal with Mexico without imposing tariffs," Trump said, and he gave some rare praise to journalists at the White House after a photographer was able to capture some details about the Mexico deal on a folded piece of paper Trump was waving. Tuesday, "I had such respect for you people when I held it up to the sunlight and it was closed, and you were able to read it through the sunlight," Trump said. "That was not anticipated.